You can't be powerful if your emotions control you. That's the truth no one wants to hear. Everyone wants to feel good, be validated, be understood. But the world doesn't care how you feel. The world responds to results. And you cannot produce results consistently if your actions are dictated by your mood. Emotion is a tool. It's not your master. If you want to lead, dominate, win, and become someone others admire, then you must learn to control your emotional state, not surrender to it. Too many people wake up and make decisions based on how they feel. I don't feel motivated today, so I won't go to the gym. I feel tired, so I'll skip the work. I feel hurt, so I'll lash out. That's weakness. That's emotional slavery. The strongest people in the world are not the ones who are numb or cold. They're the ones who feel it all and still choose to act with discipline. You can be emotional, but emotions must never dictate your direction. They are data, not commands. Look at the most successful people. Do you think they always feel like showing up? Do you think they're immune to pain, betrayal, fear, or anxiety? No. The difference is they don't allow emotions to paralyze them. They acknowledge their feelings, and then they do what needs to be done anyway. That's called emotional control. That's called power. And when someone sees that in you, they don't just find it impressive, they find it attractive, because very few people have it. The person who can walk into chaos and remain calm, who can face stress and not panic, who can feel anger but not explode, is the person others instinctively trust. That's the energy of a leader. That's the energy of someone who others want to follow, partner with, and be around. Because your emotional control isn't just about you. It impacts everyone around you. It sets the tone. It defines your presence. It shows that you're not moved by noise or weakness. You're grounded, composed, and dangerous in the best way. You can tell how strong a person is by how they respond under pressure. Anyone can smile when things are easy. But how do you act when you're tired? When someone disrespects you? When plans fall apart? When emotions rise? That's the test. Do you scream, react, lose control? Or do you pause, breathe, observe, and then strike with precision? Because if you want real influence, if you want to be seen as someone who commands respect, then you need to train your emotions the same way you train your body. That's right, emotional control is a skill. It's not just for the naturally calm. It's something you build through repetition. It starts with awareness. When you feel anger rising, don't react, watch it. Ask yourself, is this useful right now? Will this help or hurt the mission? When you feel fear, don't retreat, lean into it. Fear is not a stop sign, it's a signal that growth is near. And when you feel sadness or anxiety, don't sink, stand taller. Train yourself to choose action over emotion, every single time. Let's make it clear, controlling your emotions does not mean suppressing them. It means mastering them. You don't run from them. You face them and redirect them. Anger can become fuel. Fear can become awareness. Sadness can become compassion, but only if you decide to take control. If you don't, you become a slave to whatever you're feeling. And no one respects a slave, not even yourself. Here's the truth. Most people are emotionally weak. They're reactive. They need external validation to feel worthy. They let criticism break them. They let compliments manipulate them. One bad day and their entire life feels ruined. But if you want to win, not just in relationships, but in life, you have to rise above that. You have to be untouchable emotionally. Stoic, not numb. Fierce, not frantic. Clear, not chaotic. And here's what happens when you reach that level. People notice, not just romantically, but in every area of life. You stop attracting drama and start attracting respect. The right people will be drawn to your calm, your discipline, your power, because everyone is tired of instability. Everyone is craving someone who doesn't fall apart when things go wrong. Be that person. Be the one who walks into a storm and remains focused. That's rare. That's unforgettable. Think about it. Have you ever met someone who just had that presence, that quiet intensity? The kind of person who doesn't talk too much, doesn't show off, but you can feel they're in control. That's what we're talking about. That kind of control isn't genetic, it's earned. Through pain, through discipline, through endless repetition of doing what needs to be done, whether you feel like it or not. Start by training it daily. Don't react to every trigger. Delay your emotional responses. Choose clarity over chaos. Meditate, journal, Observe. Practice emotional neutrality in moments of conflict. Hold eye contact when you want to look away. Speak calmly when you want to shout. Stay committed when you want to quit. These small acts of control build internal power, and internal power builds unshakable presence. Once you control your emotions, people can no longer manipulate you. They can't guilt you, bait you, provoke you, or throw you off course. You become untouchable, not because you're hard, but because you're disciplined. Not because you feel nothing, but because you choose how to respond. That's when you earn real respect. That's when people start looking at you differently. The person who is truly attracted to you isn't just looking for a pretty face or a fun time. They're looking for someone they can rely on, someone who doesn't fold under pressure, someone who knows who they are. And if you've mastered your emotions, you automatically set yourself apart from the majority. Because very few people walk that path. Very few people have that level of control. So if you want power, real power, the kind that commands attention, loyalty, and love, start here. Master your emotions. Treat them like fire, useful when contained, dangerous when uncontrolled. You don't need to react. You don't need to explain. You don't need to seek approval. You just need to move with clarity, purpose, and presence. Emotion is a tool. Use it. Don't let it use you. That's how leaders are made. That's how influence is built. That's how respect is earned. And that's how you become the kind of person no one forgets. Pressure doesn't break people. Lack of preparation does. Chaos doesn't destroy lives. Emotional instability does. And when things fall apart, when everything's loud, messy, stressful, and uncertain, the one who stays calm always wins. Calm under pressure isn't just impressive. It's dominance. It's leadership. It's a weapon. Because in a world full of people reacting emotionally, spiraling, losing control over every little inconvenience, the man or woman who stays grounded becomes a magnet. People instinctively look toward that kind of presence, not because it screams the loudest, but because it never shakes. You can train yourself to be that person. The one who doesn't panic when life hits hard. The one who breathes before reacting. The one who calculates before speaking. That kind of emotional mastery doesn't just happen. It's built through intentional exposure to challenge, discomfort, resistance, and pressure. You don't grow calm by avoiding stress. You grow calm by walking straight into it and refusing to let it control you. Start here, when the unexpected happens, when you feel anxiety building, when your plan gets disrupted. Pause. That 1 second of silence will separate you from everyone else. Most people react instantly. They scream, they panic, they post, they text, they blame. But that 1 second of silence says, I'm in control. It says I decide what happens next. That one moment of internal restraint can make the difference between burning a bridge or building one, between losing respect or earning it. Let me tell you something about attraction. True attraction, not surface level attention. The kind of person worth having in your life is not drawn to chaos. They're drawn to stability. They're drawn to composure. They're drawn to the person who keeps their cool under fire. Because if you can stay calm under pressure, you send a signal that you're reliable, that when life gets hard, and it will, you won't fall apart. You won't run. You won't become a liability. You become an asset. Understand this clearly. Composure is confidence. You don't need to shout, or flex, or intimidate people to show strength. Quiet control is louder than all of that. When you're calm, people assume you've got it handled. They trust you. They lean on you. They look to you. It's not just attractive, it's commanding. That's why the most powerful people in any room rarely speak first. They let the room reveal itself. They observe, they listen, they pick their moments. And when they speak with impact. Now here's the truth. Most won't tell you. You will not develop this level of composure by accident. You have to train it. Life will test you, and most people fail because they've trained their emotions to rule over them. They've trained themselves to be reactive. But you're not most people. You have to rewire the response. And that starts with awareness. Catch yourself the next time you're triggered. Observe your reaction. Ask yourself, does this reaction serve me or sabotage me? You'll start noticing patterns. Maybe you get defensive when criticized. Maybe you get angry when plans change. Maybe you feel insecure when you're ignored. That's fine, own it, but then change it. Choose a higher response. Choose calm, because calm is not passive, it's powerful. It means you've assessed the battlefield and decided not to waste energy on emotional reactions. It means you've chosen control over chaos. And that's rare. People want to be around someone who feels like peace, not pressure. That doesn't mean you're soft or passive. It means you're focused. It means when emotions spike, you anchor down. You don't get thrown off. You don't drown in noise. You stay rooted in mission, not mood. That's who people want to be with. That's who people want to follow. And here's something even deeper. Being calm under pressure communicates self-respect. It shows you don't let external things own you. You don't let disrespect shake you. You don't let delays destroy you. You've trained your mind to see problems as puzzles, not threats. You've trained your emotions to follow your purpose, not your pain. And that makes you incredibly attractive to anyone who's on the same path. Because someone who's truly interested in you isn't just watching how you treat them when things are good. They're watching how you treat life when things go wrong. How do you act when you're tired, when you're disrespected, when you don't get what you want? That's when the truth shows up. And if you can be composed when most people would break, that's when people take notice. That's when respect is born. And respect is the gateway to everything. Trust, attraction, loyalty, love. Even in relationships, calm is your superpower. How many arguments explode not because of the issue, but because of the reaction? Most damage is done in the emotion, not in the truth. But if you can stay calm, listen with intent, speak with clarity, and lead with strength, you don't just win the argument, you protect the relationship. That kind of control is rare. And rare is attractive. But let's get brutally honest here. If you keep losing control, if your emotions dictate your responses every time things don't go your way, then don't expect to attract someone high value. Because high value people don't want emotional liabilities. They don't want to constantly reassure, explain, and repair. They want someone who brings peace, not pride. And peace begins with personal responsibility. You want to be with someone who keeps their composure. Be that person first. The good news, this is all trainable. You can start right now. Practice breathing instead of reacting. Practice delaying your first emotional impulse. Practice interpreting events from a rational lens instead of an emotional one. Practice silence. Practice awareness. Practice response over reaction. And every time you do, you reinforce a mindset of strength. Eventually it becomes who you are. Someone who doesn't panic. Someone who doesn't crumble. Someone who's calm, focused, and deliberate. And when that's who you are, you don't need to chase anyone. You become the kind of presence people are drawn to. Because the world is full of noise, and calm is a rare sound. The world is full of reactors, and leaders are few. Be the calm, be the leader, be the one who remains composed when everyone else breaks. That's how you stand out. That's how you gain respect. That's how you attract someone who's serious. And most importantly, that's how you become someone you're proud of. Calm, clear, and completely in control. You attract what you project. It's a principle that operates whether you believe in it or not. It doesn't matter how good your intentions are, how nice your personality is, or what your potential looks like. What matters is the energy you bring into every room, every conversation, and every decision. That energy is built on how you think, how you speak, how you move, and most importantly, how you feel about yourself deep down. You cannot expect high-value people to be drawn to you if you carry the energy of fear, insecurity, or desperation. You don't get what you want. You get what you are. Think about this when you walk into a room with confidence, clarity, and peace. You shift the atmosphere. You don't need to speak loudly or dominate the space. Your very presence becomes enough. Because when you project certainty, people feel safe around you. When you carry focus, people begin to trust you. When your energy reflects discipline, it sends a signal that you're someone who can be counted on. And that is attractive, not just romantically, but in business, friendship, and leadership. Now reverse it. If you're constantly projecting anxiety, overthinking, bitterness, or low self-worth, that's the frequency you'll attract. People who are chaotic, manipulative, or emotionally unavailable are drawn to that type of energy because they feed off it. They see an open door to control, to drain, to dominate. That's why people often find themselves in cycles of toxic relationships or environments. It's not always about the people around you. It's about the energy you've unconsciously allowed to linger around you. You can't fake real energy. You can't pretend to be confident when you're full of doubt. You can't fake peace when your mind is scattered. You can't simulate power when you haven't taken control of your habits, your emotions, and your direction. People may not be able to describe it, but they will feel it. And what they feel dictates how they treat you. That's the raw truth. You set the tone by the way you carry yourself, the way you speak, and the way your energy will introduce you before your words do. So ask yourself, what are you projecting right now? Are you projecting neediness or independence? Are you giving off desperation or direction? Are you seeking validation or walking in purpose? Because attraction is not about trying to convince someone to like you. It's about becoming someone who's undeniable. You do that by taking ownership of your presence. You do that by showing up to life fully, by being intentional with your words, your boundaries, your habits. Your thoughts are the foundation of your projection. If you're constantly thinking negative, fearful, insecure thoughts, your posture, tone, and expressions will reveal that. You'll subconsciously seek people who affirm your fears. But if your inner world is built on clarity, gratitude, and purpose, you'll project a frequency of strength. You'll start to attract people who want to build, not break. People who value themselves enough to value you. And let's be clear. This doesn't mean you walk around being arrogant or closed off. That's not strength. That's insecurity. Wearing a real strength is quiet. It's stable. It doesn't need to prove itself. It shows up on time. It listens more than it talks. It keeps promises. It protects its peace. It leads without control. That's the kind of projection that people can't ignore. That's the kind of presence that makes people lean. And it's the kind of energy that repels the wrong ones and attracts the right ones effortlessly. Look at the people in your life. They are a reflection of your standards, your boundaries, and yes, your energy. If you constantly find yourself around people who bring chaos, who drain your peace, who don't respect your worth, that's not a coincidence. It's a mere somewhere inside. Your energy is allowing access to what your words say you don't want. That's why internal alignment is everything. When your words, energy, and actions are in sync, you begin to attract what truly suits. You have to stop projecting weakness and hoping for strength in return. Stop giving off confusion and hoping someone shows up with clarity. If you want someone stable, be stable. If you want someone powerful, become powerful. If you want someone emotionally mature, handle your own emotions first. The law is simple. Like attracts like. You can't demand a high caliber person if you haven't become that yourself. One of the most attractive things you can project is peace. Not laziness, not indifference, real peace. The kind that comes from knowing where you're going, and not letting outside noise distract you. That kind of energy is rare. It's irresistible. It says, I don't need you, I want you, but I'll be good either way. That mindset flips the game. It shifts you from chasing to choosing, from begging to filtering, from proving to attracting. And let's talk about how attraction plays out. When your energy is right, people don't just notice, they adjust. They start to match your tone. They speak with more care. They show up with more consistency, because your presence commands that level of respect, not through ego, but through alignment. And when someone can't meet that energy, they leave. And that's a blessing, because your energy now acts as a filter, not just a magnet. It protects you as much as it draws the right ones in. Energy doesn't lie, and attraction isn't an accident. It's a byproduct of internal work. When you get your mind right, your habits right, your focus right, everything around you begins to shift. You stop tolerating what doesn't align. You stop entertaining what doesn't add value. You stop explaining your worth. You simply embody it. And when you do, people feel it. They adjust. They respect it. And the ones who are truly meant for you are drawn not to your looks, your status, or your words, but to your energy, the one you cultivated, the one you own. So if you want to change who you attract, change what you project. Start from within. Build strength. Build peace. Build clarity. Walk with confidence that's earned through daily discipline. Speak with intention. Move with purpose. And watch how your entire life begins to elevate. Because when you project the right energy, you stop chasing, and everything that's meant for you finds its way into your space effortlessly. Discipline over emotion creates real respect. In a world where people are quick to react, quick to complain, quick to quit, discipline stands up.
like a flame in the dark. It's not loud. It doesn't beg for validation. It just exists with certainty, with consistency. And that presence, that unwavering control, is one of the most magnetic forces you can develop. If you want to earn respect, if you want to be taken seriously, not just liked or noticed, but respected, then you must become the person who is guided by principle, not by passing feelings. Too many people live at the mercy of their emotions. If they're tired, they stop. If they're discouraged, they delay. If they're uncomfortable, they run. But discipline says, I'll do it anyway. Discipline shows up regardless of mood. It doesn't wait for perfect conditions. It doesn't chase motivation. It builds momentum through repetition. And when people see that in you, when they witness your ability to push forward without emotional permission, it changes how they view you. You're no longer just someone with good intentions. You're someone with real presence, real control, real reliability. Discipline is silent strength. It doesn't need to be advertised. You don't need to post it up every early morning, every tough workout, every challenge you've overcome. You just live it. And eventually people begin to notice. They notice that you're not swayed by drama. They notice that you don't break under pressure. They notice that you keep showing up, even when it's hard, even when it's quiet, even when no one's watching. And whether they say it or not, they respect it. Respect is not given to those who scream for attention. It's given to those who earn it through consistency, through integrity, through showing up when it's uncomfortable. When you choose discipline over emotion, you signal to the world and to yourself that your goals matter more than you, that your standards are not negotiable, that you don't need a crowd clapping for you to do what needs to be done. That's attractive, not just romantically, but universally, because emotional stability is rare. People are exhausted by inconsistency, by mood swings, by unpredictability. They crave someone who knows what they're about, who lives with structure, focus, and resilience. When you bring that kind of stability into your life, into your relationships, into your decisions, people don't just admire you, they lean on you, they trust you, they're drawn to you, because discipline is leadership, and leadership is irresistible. Think about how many arguments, missed opportunities, or broken connections have happened simply because someone couldn't control their emotions. One bad mood, one emotional outburst, one lazy moment. That's all it takes to burn something meaningful. But discipline creates pause. It gives you the power to breathe, to think, to choose wisely before reacting. It allows you to stay rooted in your values, instead of being tossed by the waves of your feet. Discipline also filters out what doesn't belong.
We're consistent.
When you're focused, when you have routines and boundaries in place, you naturally repel people who aren't serious. The ones who are inconsistent, disrespectful, or chaotic will feel out of place around you. And that's good, because the right people, the ones who value growth, maturity, and vision, will recognize your discipline not as something rigid, but as something grounding, something safe, something inspiring. And don't confuse discipline with perfection. You're still human. You'll have off days. You'll feel emotions. But the difference is, you don't let those emotions drive the car. You let discipline steer, while emotion rides in the backseat. You can acknowledge your feelings without surrendering to them. That's real maturity. That's real strength. That's the version of you that attracts respect without needing to demand it. The truth is, discipline is freedom. It might sound like the opposite, but it's the key to unlocking everything worthwhile. When you're disciplined, you don't need to panic when things go wrong, because you've trained for chaos. You don't need to rely on outside motivation, because you've built inner structure. You don't need to chase shortcuts, because you trust the process. That kind of energy is powerful. And it's incredibly rare. When someone sees you holding yourself accountable, managing your time, staying true to your values, respecting your own boundaries, that tells them they have no choice but to meet you on that level. Because you've already set the standard. You don't need to explain. You don't need to chase anyone to follow it. You just live it. And the right ones will rise to meet it. The wrong ones will follow it. That's not loss, it's alignment.
Yeah, so if you want to be taken seriously, if you want to build something that lasts,
if you want to attract not just attention but deep admiration, then make this your core. Discipline over emotion. Show up when it's hard. Choose clarity over reaction. Protect your routines. Say no when it's necessary. Hold your boundaries and watch what happens. People will notice. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but over time your presence will carry weight. Your word will mean something. Your consistency will become your credibility. And the people who matter, those who are also building, growing, and leading, will be drawn to that like a magnet. And most importantly, you will respect yourself more. Because nothing feels better than knowing you can trust your own strength, that you don't need to be ruled by emotion to move forward, that you don't need approval to act, that your character is built on something solid. Discipline doesn't just change how others see you, it transforms how you see yourself. So carry yourself like someone who's in charge, who makes decisions based on principles, not impulses, who's guided by values, not validation. That's the person who wins in the long game. That's the person who creates impact. That's the person who doesn't chase but attracts. And not just attention, but respect, admiration, and alignment. All because you chose discipline over emotion. Every single time.